Welcome to the Averill family of Chippy, Norton, Ipswich and Beyond, Lives Recast, a recap of all the videos in this series. This series explored the lives of a colonial New England family whose stories stretched from rural England to the developing frontier towns of Massachusetts and Connecticut. Through a document deep dive examining land deeds, church admissions, probate files, court cases, and town records, the series reconstructed the lived experiences of the Averill family and the communities they helped to build. Across these 15 episodes, the story revealed the social fabric of 17th and early 18th century New England. The narrative began with the family's English roots in Chippy, Norton, Oxfordshire, before members of the family crossed the Atlantic during the early decades of the Massachusetts Bay Colony. By the mid-1600s, the family had established itself in Ipswich and later Topsfield, Massachusetts, communities that were themselves only a generation removed from the wilderness settlement. The early episodes examined the life and work of William Averill Sr., whose skills as a carpenter and tradesman placed him at the center of a growing colonial town. Though his means were modest, his craftsmanship and land ownership helped anchor the Averill family and positioned them as respected members of their community. The series then followed the next generation, particularly William Averill Jr. and his wife Hannah, whose large family became rooted in a community that demanded hard work, cooperation, and faith. From an early age, the kids contributed to farming, trade, and household labor while participating in the civic and religious life that structured colonial society. New research uncovered through the Averill Family Project shed additional light on William Averill Jr.'s eldest son, also named William, where he was charged with drunkenness and making slanderous speeches. The incident reportedly occurred at the Ipswich meeting house itself, and an additional complaint was brought forward by Topsfield minister Parson Joseph Capon, either at that time or at a later time, I cannot be sure. But this additional complaint stated that William had spoken against Capon's wife. What William actually said is unknown, but Capon was a respected minister and William ultimately confessed to the charges. In the communities of that time, the goal of discipline was often restoration rather than banishment. William was brought back into the fold. Following this episode, William seemingly returned to Topsfield, where he settled near the town meeting house. There he married and raised his family, living a life of modest means but stable standing within the community. His story offers a small but revealing glimpse into the human realities of colonial life, moments of public failing followed by a return that defined everyday life in early New England. A key theme emerging from the series is how colonial families solidified kinship networks and cared for each other. One episode highlights a remarkable agreement amongst the Averill sons to ensure the care of their mother, Hannah, after the death of their father in 1691, an example of both legal responsibility and familial loyalty. Several episodes explored the advancement of their land holdings, which grew to extend across areas that would later become known as the colleges. The name reflected the Averill family's reputation for craftsmanship, knowledge, and industriousness. Though there was no formal institution there, the settlement became known locally as a place associated with the Averill family's presence and influence. Another episode focused on the Averill sawmill, established around the early 1690s. Timber was one of the most valuable resources in early Massachusetts, and mills were essential for converting raw forest into lumber needed for houses, barns, tools, and furniture. Powered by water from Mile Brook, the Averill mill helped supply building materials for surrounding community and illustrated how colonial families combined land, natural resources, and mechanical skill to sustain growing settlements. The series also explored the lives of individual Averill children as they came of age. Nathaniel Averill assumed increasing responsibility after his father's death. His life demonstrated the expectations placed upon oldest sons in colonial families, managing land transactions and helping to maintain the family's social standing within the town. John and Job Averill represent another dimension of the family story, as their lives illustrated how siblings often work together economically and socially. Records show them participating in land purchases and community responsibilities that reveal how intertwined the Averill brothers remained throughout their adulthood. Church membership also played a defining role in colonial life. Several episodes highlight the significance of being admitted into full communion with the Church of Christ at Topsfield. Acceptance into the church required public testimony of faith and moral standing. For individuals such as Paul Averill, admission signified not only religious belief, but also full integration into the moral and civic expectations of the community. Not all stories in the series are defined by prosperity or longevity. One particularly poignant episode reflected on Silas Averill, a child who died young and left little documentary trace. His story reminds us that colonial family histories are shaped also by the children who did not live long enough to leave documented records. Their absence shaped families just as profoundly as the lives of those who survived. Across these episodes, one overarching theme became clear. The story of the Averill family is not merely a genealogy, but a window into the daily realities of colonial New England. Their experiences clarified how early settlers balanced family obligations, religious expectations, economic survival, and civic duty while navigating the uncertainties of life in a developing colony. Through careful examination of primary documents and the landscapes where these events unfolded, the Lives Recast series restored these individuals to the historic record as people whose lives contributed to the shaping of early American society. New documents uncovered at the Topsfield Historical Society on the 28th of February 2026 add further insight into the stories of Nathaniel and his own son Jacob Averill. These documents list their occupations, identifying Nathaniel as a farmer and his son Jacob as a carpenter. One such document is the deed of sale uncovered here for the very first time. On the 8th of February, 1738-39 Old Style, Thomas Howlett sold, and I quote, a parcel of upland to Nathaniel Averill and his son Jacob, a transaction that now expands our understanding of how the Averill landscape moved and developed over time through the next generation. I also examined the original copy of the 1737 land conveyance of 5 acres from Nathaniel to his son Jacob, signed with Nathaniel's personal seal. This is a document I am willing to share via email for those who are interested. Before closing, please mark your calendars. The colonial love story of Ephraim and Mary Wilds will be presented through Eventbrite on the 17th of May, 2026 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The link will be included in the description of this video and on my community page. If you have any questions or comments about any of my videos, please send them directly to my email address listed in the description of this video and on my channel page. Be sure to place the video title in the subject line. You can also view the video linked in the description of this video explaining how you can support my ongoing historical research. Finally, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be alerted whenever a new video is published. And as the final note, I am very excited to tell you that the first manuscript for my book on Sarah Wilds is going to the proofreader on April 1st, 2026. I am going to keep you all updated as to the exciting developments as to how this manuscript is going to unfold and every step of the way. So I am really excited about this, the first step being taken towards publication. Thank you very much, everybody, and I will see you all at the next video. Thank you.